Yeah, my opinion on social media is probably quite different to, especially a lot of people my age, because I'm meant to be the generation that we're all quite obsessed with it and can't really cope without it. But you know, I don't have a smartphone. I've not had the need to have that, to have social media on me constantly. I don't actually use anything apart from Facebook myself, because I use that to keep in contact with family and friends in different cities. Don't really see a need otherwise.
So basically it just depends on how you perceive it. Like, it's the weirdest thing, for the fact that social media is supposed to be sociable, it actually is so sociable that creates antisocial behaviour, which sort of doesn't make sense but sort of does. So it brings in a lot of positive and a lot of negative aspects towards it.
My opinion on social media is that it's pretty much just became a way of life for 90% of people nowadays, aren't they? Like, at some point in everybody's life, they do use social media.
Social media is more of a bad thing. I mean, depends on how you use it, obviously. Some people may think social media is a really good thing because it helps them from day-to-day life. I think for me, personally, it's a bad thing because it distracts me.
I think it's good and bad, like a yin and yang, because you can connect across the globe with your friends and your family, but you can also get sucked into a world where you spend so much time that you create a virtual life instead of living your real life.
It's gonna get worse. Social media, like, it's gotten worse from when it was 10 years ago. It's gotten so much more worse. Like, 10-year-olds have got Apple Watches, and I never had that when I was 10. And I was always out, but 10-year-olds now have this technology that makes them want to stay in and say, oh, do you want to go to the park? And say, no, I've just got a new app on my phone or something like that. And it will stop them from going outside, and it will get worse.
If you're spending all that time doing that, you're not walking around, you know, you're not exercising, you're not getting fresh air. Other areas of your life suffer, you know.
It's because I think we are going in a bad direction. And this has to be brought up.
I have viewed social media as a drug in my life the same way I view caffeine and alcohol and medicated prescription stuff. It's all a drug. It's something that changes my body, and it's something that sometimes I will want needlessly.
it's changed our lives in a good way because it's easier to get, as an artist, it's easier to get your work out there. It's easier to make social connections where you could get a job by knowing someone, not what you know, it's who you know. It gives you that chance to network between a very large network in a very minimal amount of time. But then again, you've got the bad side where internet is evolving and what technology is evolving that quickly that it's becoming part of our life. Whereas if you think back to the 1900s, any sort of technology, people would be like, oh no, that's weird, that's scary, I'm going to stay away from that. That's witchcraft or something. Whereas now, everyone is so used to technology being evolved that if something new comes out now, it's literally either front page or everyone's on it. Because it's new, it's interesting. I'm the only person that knows this knowledge, ha ha ha, sort of thing, and people get a kick out of it. But in the bad side, because of that, it's created an arrogance where you could literally just type up a really, really good website and send it around a few places and circulate, and people will start to believe it. The more you repeat something, the more people are going to believe it, doesn't matter where it's from. Because people aren't going to do their research. They're going to see it and go, oh wow, oh I'll share that, or I'll like that, and then scroll past again. They're not actually going to research if it's true or not, do you know what I mean? So in their head it's already true.
Yeah, everyone presumes it's true if it's on the internet. People follow stuff blindly anyway.
I don't think it's ever going to end. I don't think anyone has any way of stopping it, because if someone just deleted the social media app, someone would just bring another one out that'd mimic it. And I think it's just going to be a never-ending cycle of rubbish, to be fair, because it's just such a big aspect of everyone's lives now that I think a lot of people do rely on it, and that they'd probably be hopeless if they didn't have it, to be honest.
Using Facebook can be good because you can connect with friends that you haven't seen in a long time, but also it can be bad because you're basically creating an online life if you spend so much time there.
In terms of our kids getting lazier, I don't know enough of them, to say whether they are or not compared with us, but one of the downsides of social media is that you can be fooled into thinking that people are lazier.
So yeah, use it to see photos, see stuff, see what people are doing, but don't just stare at that. Don't view the whole world through this tiny little rectangle. It's a bit sad.
Be careful of living a life that's not there and neglecting a life that you're living yourself. Do you know what I mean? There's been many a times I work on the pub on the weekend. There's been many a times I go up to a table and the son, the daughter, the other daughter, the dad are all sat on their phones and the mum's just sat there in silence. And that's not right. That shouldn't be right. You lose connection with your family members and you lose connection with your friends. Unless they're over 10 miles away where you can only contact them on Facebook. But because they're so intrigued with contacting people who aren't there, they end up living a life that's not there. They just go through life just staring at their phones all the time, and that becomes something of an antisocial. It seconds you out.